In the headlines, Ministry of Trade and Industry urges the business community to renew their trading license before the 7-day deadline. Residents in Addis Ababa appeal for reduction in grain price following the recent adjustment of oil price. Somali transitional government forces have taken control of Kismayu, the last stronghold of the extremist UIC forces. Hello viewers, welcome to tonight's news edition. I'm Shamal Islamma. Prime Minister Meles Zenawi will present a report on the current situation of Somalia to the House of People's Representatives tomorrow. It is to be recalled that the House of People's Representatives, in its 8th regular meeting last month, passed a resolution to repulse the attack of the extremist group in the UIC on Ethiopia. According to a press statement the House sent to ETV today, the report will be broadcast live on Ethiopian television and radio. Somalia Ambassador to Ethiopia Abdikarim Farah said today the Transitional Federal Government of Somalia has gained full control over Kismayu, the southern Somali city where the extremist forces have taken refuge. After being driven out of Kismayu, the extremist forces are now at Ahmufdo, a small village near the Kenyan border. Al Kidan shall present the report filed by Yodit Admas.
In an interview with ETV, the Somalian ambassador said forces of the Transitional Federal Government of Somalia have today taken control of Kismayu, the last stronghold of the extremist Union of Islamic Course fighters. Following the expiration, TFG's 24-hour unilateral ceasefire declared during Eid al-Adha celebration, the TFG forces have advanced against the UIC unstoppably and gained full control of Kismayu and major areas of southern Somalia. The ambassador said after lasting control of Kismayu, UIC forces are now on a retreat to Afmodo, a small village near the border of Kenya. Abdikarim Farah said there is a possibility that Eritrean ships along the vast Somalian border could carry away the extremist forces. He said there might have been some looting and violence during the 24-hour ceasefire, but the TFG and Ethiopian forces have not faced any opposition.
The President and the Prime Minister, they called a meeting with the women groups, business communities, elderly, religion communities, tribal leaders, and other intellectualists outside Mogadishu. Somewhere called Afgoye, after the prayer Eid. And then the government said, we are here. Tell us what to do from now.
He said the Prime Minister and the President of Somalia, after conferring with the diaspora, have reached a consensus that the security forces should proceed into Mogadishu to stabilize the situation. They have also discussed on ways of decommissioning weapons in the hands of individuals. Ambassador Abdikarim quoted the President as saying the TFG would completely forgive those who have wrong acts. He also quoted the President as calling on citizens to join the government in the efforts of bringing about peace and stability in the country. The ambassador said the withdrawal of Ethiopian forces at this stage would leave Somalia in chaos and disorder. Ambassador Abdikarim called on the international organizations to provide the necessary assistance to the people and the transitional government of Somalia.
Somalia's Foreign Affairs Minister appealed to the international community to help Somalia's transitional government to clamp down on fundamentalists trying to escape or enter Somalia by water. The Foreign Minister, Ismail Mohamud Hurey, told the English service of the Voice of America that he was asking the international community to closely monitor the waters in and around Kismayu to watch the extremist fighters leaving or entering the country. Armed terrorists and leadership of the Union of Islamic Courts had fled to Kismayu during the past few days after abandoning the capital following a crashing blow they suffered by the counter-offensive launched by the Somalia Security Forces and Ethiopian Army. It is learned that UIC fighters have been pushed out from their last stronghold of Kismayu today. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs said dozens of Italians have expressed their joy over the shining victory achieved by Somalia security forces along with the Ethiopian army over the terrorist group after crashing its last stronghold. According to the Italians, the crushing below suffered by the terrorist group due to counter-offensive made by Somalia security forces and the Ethiopian army shows Ethiopia's determined position against terrorism. According to the statement, the Italians said Ethiopia needs to be praised for the measure it has taken against the terrorist groups in Somalia when the international community remained having a wavering stance. They also expressed appreciation to the maximum precaution made by the Somalia security forces and the Ethiopian army to minimize civilian casualty during the counter-offensive. Residents in Addis Ababa have appealed for decrease in the price of commodities following the recent oil price adjustment by the government. Mulunagabe reports filed by ENA.
In an interview ENA held today with residents of Yekka, Addis Katama and Bole sub-cities, the residents recall that the price of commodities has increased mainly due to oil price hike resulting increase in transportation costs. A resident in Yekka sub-city, Amror Koldamariam, told ENA that though oil price has decreased, the price of commodities and services remains the same. She said the business community should reduce the price of commodities while the government controls the price of goods. Another resident in Addis Katama sub-city, Mohabba Rashid, said the price of commodities and services should decline due to decrease in oil price internationally. A resident in Bole sub-city anonymously said gradual increase of oil price has affected mainly low-income earners. She noted prices for food items should decrease due to the recent decline of oil prices.
State Minister of Revenue said the Ethiopian Customs Authority has been exerted utmost effort in a bid to discharge its duties and responsibilities, as well as to render efficient services to customers. Hebeta Tesfaye has the details from ENA.
State Minister Tadara Wadajo made the remark yesterday at the completion of the training offered to 300 custom police by the authority for the second time at Plate Military Training Center. He said building the capacity of the authority is deemed necessary with a view to fighting contraband trade at the rate is increasing. Tadara said the authority is responsible to give protection for investors who are doing business legally. He added the authority should also contribute its share to ensure favorable investment opportunities in the country. The training should strengthen the effort of fighting contraband trade and execute the government's policy and the authority's mission effectively. Regular Police and Training Coordination Department head with the Ethiopian Police College, Commander Fikre Wolde Gaber, on his part said the trainees were offered awareness-raising orientation on Ethiopian constitution and customs law. He added the trainees were rendered the necessary military and physical training.
Political parties with representations in the House of People's Representatives have today held discussions on various issues. The issues deliberated on during this preliminary discussion include the structural setup of the National Electoral Board, its manpower, and its financial capability. Today's discussion was resumed based on an agreement reached earlier between the parties. During their next session scheduled to be held on January the 10th, 2007, the parties will discuss on the 1999 strategic plan and on finance. EPRDF, UEDF, UEDP Medhin, OFDM and EPRDF affiliated parties in the House took part in the discussion. The acceptance of Ethiopian Defense Forces as international peacekeeping mission is said to be growing. The remark was made by humanitarian organizations and administrative bodies in Liberia on the occasion of the handing over of responsibility to the 5th round Ethiopian peacekeeping contingent in Liberia. Hebeta Tesfaye has more on that.
Commander of the 4th Sector Ethiopian peacekeeping contingent in Liberia, Brigadier General Birhanu Jula, said the contribution of the Ethiopian peacekeeping forces highly aided by the UN military administrations and people of Liberia. Commander of the 27th Ethiopian Peacekeeping Brigade, Colonel Tasfa Mariam Gebrexiaber, on his part said members of the National Defense Forces are ready to safeguard the country's sovereignty besides participating in peacekeeping missions abroad. Commander of the 5th Round Ethiopian Peacekeeping Contingent, Brigadier General Al-Hadi Mohammed, while taking over the center from the 4th round, said his group would also exert maximum efforts to maintain the existing trust on the Ethiopian peacekeeping forces.
The Ministry of Trade and Industry has called on the business community to renew their trading licenses before the deadline passes. Mahale Nagatu has the details from ENA.
Head of Information and Public Relations Office with the Ministry, Hailu Abebe, told ENA that the Ministry has set a timeline from July to December for annual renewal of trading licenses. Unfortunately, he said, business people are facing a range of penalties for falling behind the deadline. He noted, though license renewal service takes 30 to 40 minutes, coming during the deadline has created a stressful situation for the ministry and an uncomfortable situation for the business community themselves. He said a business person who does not renew license during the said period is liable to 1,500 birr fine.
The Ministry of Health MOH disclosed the number of TB patients visiting hospitals is growing as the Directly Observed Treatment Short Course DOT strategy designed by the government to combat the disease is proving successful. Kalkidan Shah presents Voltas Dispatch.
TB and Leprosy Prevention and Control Department acting team leader with the ministry, Dr. Getachew Wandemagan, said the strategy launched to curb tuberculosis in the country a decade ago is bearing fruit. The number of TB patients receiving treatment in hospitals did not exceed 100,000 5 years ago, he said, adding that the figure was close to 125,000 last Ethiopian year. According to Dr. Getachew, the World Health Organization has projected that it would be possible to put the disease under control if treating 70% of the patients in the country is attainable. The country has, however, succeeded to cover only 36%, he said. The acting team leader further pointed out that efforts are yet being exerted to raise the coverage to 65% in the coming 4 years. Dr. Getachew stressed that it's crucial that the health institutions are equipped with the necessary trained manpower and appliances so that the upgrade and delivery of the medical service and improve its efficiency. He said activities are thus underway to train 17,000 health extension workers in a bid to raise the awareness of the public to back up the medical treatment and monitoring work. The acting team leader further indicated that the World Health Organization has designed TB-HIV collaborative initiative in order to prevent and control the two diseases simultaneously. Dr. Getachew added that encouraging results have been achieved in this respect in 9 health institutions where pilot programs have been undertaken in the past few years. It was noted that the collaborative initiative is currently under implementation in 338 health institutions across the nation. The acting team leader concluded that the ministry is making intensive preparations to expand the initiative in all health institutions in collaboration with partner organizations.
The Gambella State Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission disclosed that it has filed charges against 11 individuals since it started operation last September. Habitat Isfail looks at Voltas Dispatch.
Commissioner Uchan Paul told Walta Information Center that corruption is posing negative impacts against the overall development activities of the state and the efforts of extricating the people from poverty in particular. Uchan said the Commission had therefore been strenuously working to protect public and government properties from corruption and embezzlement during its 4 months existence. He added that out of the 8 tips of it received in the stated period, the Commission has finalized investigations over the 2 cases, so far filling charges against 11 people for alleged corruption practices. According to Chan, the charges were filed against the people who have embezzled money and relief food for personal use. Uchan said the Commission has also finalized preparations to offer training to government administrative bodies from state down to Woreda level and the public to sensitize them on prevention of corruption. The Commission has also formulated various strategies to prevent corruption and maladministration in the state, Commissioner Uchan said, adding that the public and government administrative bodies should play a significant role in the prevention of corruption.
The Zonal Water Resource Office of the West Hararghe Zone of the Oromia Regional State said the construction of safe water supply projects is well underway with over 70 million, but Mulu Nagabre has more on that from ENA.
Head of the Office of Safe Water Service, Abtamu Abebe, told Ethiopian News Agency recently that the projects under construction are in areas where there is either absence or shortage of potable water. He said the ongoing projects included, among others, sinking of 17 water wells, development of 2 springs, construction of water reservoirs, and expansion of water pipeline. The head said expansion of safe water services has also been in progress in Chiro, Kurfaroka, Taife, and Sembete towns of the zone. Over 16,000 farmers who voluntarily resettled in the area would also benefit, he said, adding installation of a 70-kilometer water pipeline in Kurfaroka town is expected to benefit several rural localities of the zone. The construction of reservoir with a capacity of holding 200 cubic meters and the water pipeline have also been underway in Chiro town of the zone. The head said the pure water coverage of the zone would reach to 60% from 46% when the project is fully completed.
Ambavich Governor, a local NGO engaged in care and development of children, said it is undertaking 31 various development projects at a cost of over 14.3 million. But for the details on this, here is Malet Negatu with Enas Dispatch.
Organization Deputy General Manager Tesfai Teklaimanut said 13 of the projects are being carried out in Addis Ababa city, while the remaining 18 in West and North Shua zones of the Oromia state. Tesfai was speaking yesterday at a program organized for mass media professionals to visit projects being carried out in West Shua zone. The projects include care and support to orphans, reproductive health and family planning, non-formal education, agriculture, credit and saving, voluntary blood test and counseling service, animal husbandry and fattening, among others. West Shua Zone Program Coordinator with the organization, Dababud Jama, on his part said 10 various projects have been designed with 2.4 million per budget allocated by the organization. The stated fund was used to provide support to about 480 orphans and 200 people living with HIV. He said over 764,000 people would benefit from the 10 projects. Deputy Coordinator and Program Head with the organization, Adobata Sisa, said 40,000 people have become beneficiaries of voluntary HIV/AIDS blood test service.
Finally, the Benishangul Gumuz State Women's Affairs Bureau expressed its delight over the stunning victory of the Ethiopian Defense Forces over the Union of Islamic Courts. Women's Affairs Office Head Keltum Ashenafi told Walter Information Center that the astonishing reversal of the war triggered by the Islamists after a long patience has delighted women of the state. We are proud of the defense forces who have driven away the terrorists, said Keltum, adding that women of the state are now ready to fully concentrate on registering better achievements in development. The government is undertaking enormous activities to ensure the all-round rights of women in the state, according to the head, who added that they are also ready to crush the anti-peace forces that intend to impede these development endeavors. Well, that ends tonight's news edition from the English News Desk. Many thanks for staying with us. Up next is a weekly close-up, followed by Gillette World Sport. Stay tuned.